Alright, well, I guess we can get back to this. So what we need to do is figure out how we're going to change our stuff. Today's Google Play thing, you're gonna have to give me more specifics than that. Does anything even use this? I don't think anything uses this. We should probably just get rid of it before somebody thinks it does something. Interesting. Yeah, it looks like we don't use any of this stuff. So let's remove some of these unused things real quick. Alright, so reset movement data, we have duplicate object and duplicate object. So it is a clone. Alright, so the current movement data is not a clone. I mean, is a clone. So we can modify it. We have a reset movement data. Alright, so we have our movement data, we have our base movement data. So the question would be, should we have different movement data objects for our different movement states? Or is that just going to be too much to manage? I think it might be too much to manage. Alright, so we need to verify that our object will allow us to move. Alright, so we need like I'm going to take a look at our physics iterations for moving. So our wanted velocity in the direction So we have our active velocity change and passive velocity change, and it looks like those affect it. Alright, so if something was pushing us faster than we wanted to go, we currently have no way to mess with it. We'd be adding to the current velocity and the direction. And our slope constant stuff is totally separate from all this. So basically the constraints here are if we change our wanted velocity. Where's our maximum velocity? It's basically wanted velocity and direction is it. Like we're not using our speeds at all for anything. It's just what's our wanted velocity in the direction. And we go towards that wanted velocity. Alright, so let's also verify our air control stuff. Alright, can't control in air our new velocity y, which is left and right, so our new velocity in the z is not affected. We also have a movement data max vertical move speed, that's just like terminal velocity or whatever. Okay, that's fine. Alright, so what we want to do is we want to just build this and make sure it's all built up. Can we get our current move speed? Yeah, we get the magnitude of our speed and all that. Alright, so we need to open up the movement for Bitey for its crouch. So we need to call reset movement data. So what we need to do is we need to set our movement data up. So why don't we add a function here? We'll be like set movement data, and let's call it when we enter this state. So if we set our movement data, what we're going to want to do is we're going to call get movement data. So get movement. And let's see what variables we actually have on this thing. Probably the easiest way is to open up the movement data right here. We can look at it. See, I want to change this name to movement data. Just move that. Can we split this? guess we can call set on it and all that stuff. So I guess we have to just individually set all this stuff. So when to set the movement velocity, we want to set the active velocity change and set the passive velocity change. So we need the crouching velocity, and the crouching velocity I believe should be controlled by the movement controller. So we've got the walk speed, trot speed, should crouch. I guess the crouch speed is going to be the trot speed. Alright, let's make a variable here which is going to be our movement control, which is going to be like 30,000. So we'll slot it in there. Alright, do we need to change anything else? It's just our movement velocity needs to be much, much lower, and then our active velocity change and passive velocity change needs to be much higher. I guess maybe we need our crouch speed. What is our trot speed? It's 3600, so it's actually pretty fast. Let's have a crouch speed variable here, which is going to be a float. And we'll set it to like 1500. Alright, so what is this get movement data function returning? We're setting our movement velocity to this value. Alright, well I'm gonna see if we're even Movement velocity is how come I can't look at the variables? Well, let's see. The crouch speed, let's just set the crouch speed to 0 and just see what happens. Because we should have no speed then, but we do have speed. So what's actually using the speed? I guess it's going to be our movement controller. So it's like gameplay, player, logic, player, logic, object. Alright, so we are grabbing our movement velocity from our movement data. So let's print it out real quick. So it's being set to 12,000. I see. It's our movement data is not what we should be using for our player logic object here, because this is our base movement data. We should be able to get movement and then get movement data, like so. Alright, our going to crouch stuff is wrong. Alright, so where is our crouch stuff? It's on this like set crouch flag. Alright, so the x-axis is less than... So the x-axis is the right and left. Really, we shouldn't be using the axis value for this. We should be using just if it's down. Okay, so it's left stick down action. So we can just get rid of all this. Was it? Yeah, it was off of the false. Alright. Alright, let's see. Alright, so the crouch needs to be able to go a lot faster. So let's tune that a little bit faster. So crouch speed, probably 3000. So let's get a rock floating in midair here and see what we can do. So what we want to do is make it so that we can't actually stand up. Alright, so that's another thing. Alright, did we get much lower top speed? When we exit, we do it. Set our wanted speed to 0 of turning around. Alright, yeah, let's look at the turning around. I really don't think it matters. Seems just fine to me. Reset our speed when leaving. Okay, so we got all that done. Don't stand up if cannot stand. Alright, so let's do that whole thing. So, how does that work? Basically, we still want the intent to crouch to be false or whatever. So I think it's the movement controller event graph. Basically, it's can crouch is true. So what's going to happen is can I jump out of a crouch right now? No, I can't. Should I be able to? I guess not. Alright, so a few things. Well, I'll make a list. Don't stand up if cannot stand. Create a crouch toggle button. We want to be able to cancel crouch toggle with jump key. And we then want to look at crouching on slope. See how awful it looks. Alright, so the first thing is standing up. So what we want to do is basically we want to say so we're getting our velocity. If our velocity is less than trot speed, I guess we shouldn't use trot speed, we should use our crouch speed. And this should be a less than equal to. Just like such. Well, right now it'll actually cancel out of the like uncrouching animation to jump. The thing is to actually jump. I don't know. It's interesting. I guess I should put a toggle in there. Put an optional jump straight out of crouch. So what we need to do is figure out this can crouch stuff. Okay, so if should crouch is true, and should crouch is blah. If that's false, and I guess we're on the ground. I think basically what I want is some sort of, can I transition away from this state, and I want to test it, and I want the state itself to tell you like, no, you can't transition to that state. So we want we're going to have to close this stuff. What we're going to do is the state and the we have this can switch, and we want a can switch 2. I don't know. I'm trying to think. It's basically like, can I switch to this state? And it's like, well, is it in the air or something like that? If so, go ahead. If it's not, then don't. And we'll need to like, I guess it would be more of a can switch to state. Do we need a generic solution for this? Well, it's basically there's going to be a couple things. There's going to be like crouching versus. I mean, is it can stand up? Is it literally that's what we should do? I think it's can stand up. Okay. Well, can stand up is going to be character specific, so we're going to check that, and if we can stand up, then we'll switch to one of those states. Otherwise, we'll stay crouched. Or whatever state we're in. We're not going to switch. Alright, so make a new function, and it's going to be can stand. Skype has been updated. How about you never talk to me again, Skype? In fact, why don't we uninstall Skype? Because fuck you, Skype. Nobody likes you. And of course, it's not in add remove programs or any of that because Microsoft. Microsoft, you son of a bitch. Alright. Alright, so it's basically this set next movement state thing is not going to get called, and like all this other crazy shenaniganry. We don't need it. So it's going to be right here. So what we do is drag this over. We need to say like can stand needs to return a boolean, which is can stand. Right, so can stand is going to be one of those things, and basically we're going to want to see if an animation can be played and all that. So I think can stand is get movement, and I think it's can. It's one of these functions. Yeah, it's can play animation. Alright, so we're going to need this whole thing. So we're going to want to try to play a specific animation. Let's see if we have anything on our entity animation controller. We have nothing on there. Alright, so we need to actually modify this code so that we can set it. So we're going to need can play animation. And can play animation, which takes a constant f string name. We're going to need a can play animation by ID. And I don't think we're going to want it by anim wrapper exposed like that. So int32 anim ID. Since when do I have settable streaming qualities? Well, I don't. Wait, I do. What the hell? Why do I have streaming qualities now? When did this happen? Do they work? Did they just change something? I mean, they must have. Like, let's... When did that happen? Let's see. The lowest? Let me see what it looks like. Like 1060p. Oh yeah, it looks awful. 1060p. That is ridiculous. Well, let's check real quick. Let's see if they just added that. So you either need to be a Twitch partner or have enough viewers to enable transcoding once you pass a hidden internal value. They don't advertise the specific numbers to avoid having unscrupulous people try to game the system. So we'll see if it actually like disappears or something. Highest is sweet though. Well, that's pretty cool. So we'll see if that disappears or if maybe I just suddenly pass the magical Twitch boundary where you get all the bells and whistles for streaming options. In which case, Lucas is going to be super happy that he'll be able to actually watch on his phone now. Or, you know, like listen to it on your phone while you're out. Well, you never know. Like, I could definitely see. I don't know. After, it's kind of one of those things. Yeah, we have streaming quality now, Lucas. So you can go do that whole thing. Well, that's what I would figure. Like, if you were on the go and kind of wanted to follow a streamer, you could just like have your headphones on and throw your phone in your pocket or whatever, and be like going shopping or something, listen to what's going on. So you'd want to throw it on that low bandwidth, so you didn't eat all your bandwidth from your. From your, from your cell phone plan. Yeah, I don't know why that just got unlocked. Twitch does this sort of crap sometimes. Like, it was pretty funny. Like, they just kind of spring stuff out there on production, and like I've been a victim of that. Like, we had our game and we had like our login with Twitch. Being at work and having, yeah. And they changed the login with Twitch stuff to allow login with Facebook. And all of a sudden, like, all of our game shit broke because we had it, like, our confidential Amazon game using login with Twitch. And and it was set up, like we had all these Twitch accounts, and then all of a sudden there's like a different flow, and it would like broke our UI and shit like that. It was pretty awful. So we have our animation controller component right here. So if anim controller equals null pointer, we're just going to return false. Otherwise, we're going to need to snag this. Entity animation controller component. We're going to have to snag the animation wrapper off of it. So like get animation data. Yeah, let's just do get animation data raw by name. So we'll get f animation wrapper pointer wrap. So if wrap is null pointer, they're going to return false. Yeah, or maybe secretly I'm a Twitch partner now and I should check my Gmail and they're like, hey, welcome. And that would be hilarious. Yeah, nothing from Twitch, so I'm guessing there's just, one of those secret values. Alright, so let's continue working on some of this stuff. So I'm going to want to return can play animation direct, and then let's dereference the wrapper. Was something like 150 and 15? Well, I definitely don't have 150 right now. I've got like, you know, I don't even have 140. I've got 139 or whatever. I don't know about viewers per stream. I don't think I've been averaging. I mean, it really depends. Like on the weekend, I'll get more because I think more people watch Adam streaming, and then Adam points people at me. But over the last 2 weeks, yeah, maybe it's 140 followers, right? Over the past 2 weeks, though, I did have GOG host me and Unreal 4 host me. So there were a couple points where I had like 30 or 40 people. So perhaps there was something there. So I need get animation data by ID is the thing. It's anim ID. And let's double check this can play animation direct. So it's going to grab the flipbook off of that, and it's going to get all the different stuff off of it, and check a whole bunch of random garbage and do an overlap on it. Well, as we already know, we might have some problems with our overlaps. But let's see if it works. Just out of the gate here, let's check the overlap shape stuff inside of the physics utils and see if there's some sort of like higher precision stuff going on. Alright, so we want this collision response or F collision. Alright, so we have trace complex set to true. So, well, let's take a look and see if it actually does what we want it to do. Or if we stand up and get our heads stuck in a rock. Yes, our slow and inexorable takeover of Twitch with our majestic 3 concurrent viewers, which will eventually be everybody on the planet watching me fumble around and curse and complain about things, continues. At this rate, we will take over Twitch sometime between the sun exploding and the heat death of the universe, but it's a non-zero chance of it happening. Alright, so that all compiled out there, so let's now call our can stand animation stuff. Yeah, so soon, yeah. We're really ambitious on our year-over-year growth for viewers. It's actually pretty funny. The videos I've been recording for Pharaoh are incredibly huge video files. Like, the videos I record for Dashkin are actually very small, even though it's all coding stuff. It's been pretty funny to see. Alright, so we got the player logic object, and we also want the character, bitey, movement controller, and the... Yeah, it's movement controller, that's where we were. We're inside of the can stand thing. We want to do can play animation, and I think we're going to want the animation that we would have been using. I mean, I guess the question would be, this is to stand up. Yeah, let's see what the name of the animation is. Let's just do it directly and not really worry too much about it. It just, the idle animation's probably just fine. It's not overcomplicated. Alright, so we'll crouch down, crawl under this rock, and let go of the down key. And we're no longer... Alright. And I let go of the down key, and immediately transitions out of it when I'm moving. Cool. Well, I guess that's wrong right there. We should be we should be falling. All right. Well, let's make sure now. I mean, we're doing it one at a time, so don't stand if we cannot stand. Let's make a toggle crouch button, and we'll add to our list here. Exit crouch if in the air. Actually, we can go ahead and do that right now. I'm pretty sure I know exactly where that is. It's going to be on this event graph, basically, if we are already crouched, then it's just going to say, oh, well, that's fine. And in fact, what we want to do is we want to move that condition check after this.